In this episode, we will talk about dating in Western Mindanao, the most dangerous part of the Philippines. Subscribe to the channel, click thumbs up so we can spread the truth about this country and please the YouTube overlords. Dating in Western Mindanao. Here's what's been asked on Reddit. Okay, maybe this is a dumb question. I am looking at making my first exploratory trip to the Philippines early next year. I have been chatting and looking to chat with Filipinas to see what might happen. Would it be better off not even chatting with Filipinas from Western Mindanao, even Central Mindanao, except for Davao, General Santos, and CDO? I have heard that even Bukidnon area can be sketchy. I like the idea of living near, but outside a bigger city, but more provincial. But I guess that's a different topic for a different day. Would I be wise not to even entertain the idea of a Filipina from these areas? Or am I reading too much into some of the, quote, news that I hear? Firstly, I'm not sure why he's putting news in quotations. No one is making up news. These are facts and things that happen in Western Mindanao area. Master Breaker 69 says, I keep hearing people say Mindanao is safe and that I'll be super safe there and under everyone's protection because I'm white. But then look at Elliot Eastman. Do not try your life with these fool's words. There are plenty of great women in Luzon and Visayas, so why take the 100% unnecessary risk? This person has a conflicting statement. He says that people tell him he'll be safe because he is white. It is the opposite, the complete opposite. As a white foreigner, people will pretend to respect you because they wanted money from you. That's where this protection that you're hearing from comes from, because they see it as I scratch your back and you give me money type of deal. And once you don't, or you run out of money, or you realize you can't be giving out handouts to everyone, that's when they'll turn on you. That's when you become the target, and that's why you stand out. They see you as a meal ticket, simply a walking ATM. These fools and influencers or vloggers that go to these areas for a couple of days and pretend or feel safe are delusional. It is not like that. Let me tell you that the honeymoon phase will wear out very quickly and you'll find yourself in danger. Do not fall for these things. Will you be safe if you go? Perhaps. Possibly. Are the chances of you surviving higher than not? Yes, definitely. But you are still taking an extremely high risk going to these areas when you can simply avoid it. Of course, crimes happen in every city, but why take the unnecessary risk to start from scratch and stop talking to these people in these areas? Just do that. There are so many women in different areas. Completely ignore the South would be my personal opinion. Aztecs936 says, I have been all over Luzon and Mindanao. I wouldn't go any further west than Bukidnon, and even in Bukidnon, my wife and in-laws wouldn't let me go to the sorry store. They would go get what I need for me anywhere east of Bukidnon that let me roam freely, and I felt completely safe, says this person. Mac the Dodge says, I wouldn't say F around and find out, but statistically a lot of foreigners have already found it out in Mindanao. Unless you want to be another statistic, they say, it is true. Look at the stats. Look at the previous crimes. Look at what happened in that region. It's all very concentrated in a certain area. So why go there? Why do you think so many women are talking to you from that region? It is simple. They have less options. There are almost no foreigners down there who are single or have the time, patience, and the bravery to be hanging around those women. So that's why they're interested in you, talking to you, because they know they have less men to choose from. Most men avoid that region. Even for those men that send money to random women online, deep down, men have this fantasy that one day, perhaps, maybe they will visit that region. But in the case of Mindanao area and Western Philippines, most men don't talk to these women and don't send them money because they know they will never go there under any circumstances. Those are the truths and the facts of this region. Scarcity says, the only places I would consider in Mindanao are Davao, Siargao, and Cagayan de Oro. It also is worth noting that although cities are notorious for petty crimes like theft and real crime, dangers are in certain remote areas where highly armed criminals and guerrilla groups may be located. You may think you're having a peaceful drive into the mountain wilderness and find yourself face to face with people you will wish you wouldn't have met face to face. You may find yourself in a news story headline, or rather, those who are looking for you will. I doubt you ever see the headlines yourself. Yes, this is certain and true. Freedom says, we got to go to Mindanao regularly, northern Mindanao specifically. We got to a small town around Calamba. Well, not a lot of foreigners, but people are super friendly and helpful. I would stay away from western Mindanao, Sulu region, but I have nothing but great things to say about northern Mindanao and the people. Everywhere has pockets that you don't go to, so just be smart and respect the culture. Yeah, that would work normally and for this person's situation, but it's not guaranteed, and you just want to reduce your chances, I would say. Astitude says, my wife is from Mindanao. I've spent some time there, and pretty small town visiting family. Gotta say, I felt more out of place there than any other place in the Philippines, or more than living in Cambodia for years, for that matter. I didn't have any negative interactions though, but I would just say to be cautious as I felt very uncomfortable being around certain types of people. And one more comment from Wandering and Lost. General advice, choose the location, then choose the girl from the location. Begin by considering places realistic, choices from what you want, and narrow down your search from there. Why start a chain of events that leads to undesirable locations when you have the amazing opportunity to live anywhere? There's no point in even starting a conversation with a Filipina from Zamboanga or rural Samar, for example. Personally, I would write off all of Mindanao, except for Davao and Siquijor. This person also makes an excellent question. You have no obligations to any location, and you have the freedom of going anywhere, so why not pick a place that you would be comfortable with? Pick a place that you want to live in, and the girl will be found shortly. You can find her in person, or even online if you're lazy or have no game. But the truth is, dangers of environments. Do you hear that in the background? That is just a simple motorcycle that I cannot avoid hearing even with the windows and doors closed. But that's just another story about noise pollution. Let's get back on track to this topic. I would never go to Mindanao personally because there's no need for me to. Anything they have down there you can find in different regions. It is time for yesterday's best and worst comments. There is a two-way tie between Jin Kazama and George with 35 likes. Jin says, they realized they deserve better. They started to see the truth and face the truth no matter how many times they looked away, ignored it, and forgave it. They learned their lessons. They wised up. This is in regards to leaving the Philippines as an expat. George says, the only reason to be there are the easy women. George says, the only reason to be there are the easy women. As far as the Filipinos are starting to become westernized, there's nothing else to keep you there. Precisely, one must recognize the Philippines has dramatically changed in the past 10 years when it comes to social behaviors and just women in general. Remittances and the ease of sending money has changed the entire relationship game in the Philippines. The whole thing has gone upside down. Very different than when I first came to this country 10, 11 years ago. Things were very different. There was a time when women would practically throw themselves at you just because you were a foreigner, but these days that has changed dramatically. They no longer need you to be there physically. It is time to read yesterday's worst comment. The worst comment comes from Claw the Queen. Yes, please leave the Philippines. Don't use our resources and stop eating our fresh fruits. If fresh fish and not for foreigners, go away and stay away. This must be a child or a simpleton writing this. Imagine thinking that foreigners are using up the resources. Foreigners are the ones being used. Do not forget that. Subscribe to the channel to help please the YouTube overlords. Click thumbs up. Thanks for watching. God bless.